Hi, I'm Nathan Cruz and welcome to Inside the Toy Room. So as I mentioned, this is Inside the Toy Room. This is going to be a new weekly show here on my YouTube channel, basically showing you around my toy room. I've been collecting toys now since about 2004, and I really became a collector in around 2013. I'm into all kinds of different superheroes as well. You can see Batman predominantly, and a few other things, a lot of them from the 90s. And speaking of the 90s, that's exactly what today's topic is going to be, because we're going to be talking about Small Soldiers. Small Soldiers was a science fiction film made in 1998 by DreamWorks Pictures and was directed by Joe Dante. It basically is Toy Story, but really cool. It's like a badass version of Toy Story. These two guys want to create a toy line, and one of them gets overly ambitious and puts ammunition chips in the action figures so they can do everything that they do in the trailer. So when they advertise these toys, they burst out the box and start kicking ass, and the owner of the toy company basically asks, well, can they really do that? And then they say no, so they find the technology to make that happen, and of course things go wrong. Now, toy companies are obviously all bidding on who was going to get Small Soldiers, and in the end it was Kenner that was awarded the toy range. Now, many people at DreamWorks and at Kenner believed that the guys that was going to steal the show were in fact these guys, the Gorgonites, led by Archer, and they expected those toys to sell better than the villains of the film, which are the Commando Elite. But of course, many kids, especially young boys, much preferred the Commando Elite, because these guys were just, they were badass. I was one of them. I loved the Commando Elite, and so as a kid I was very frustrated the fact that the first series of toys that they released for Small Soldiers, you could only get hold of Chip Hazard and Brick Bazooka, and that was it. And my two favourites were Nick Nitro and Butch Meathook, and it drove me mad that, and as a kid I never got Butch Meathook or Nick Nitro, and to this day you still can't get a Butch Meathook. As I became older and the internet became more accessible to me and I started toy collecting, one of the first things that I started looking into getting was Small Soldiers, because I really wanted that collection. And I started thinking, I wonder if they ever did make a Nick Nitro, and sure enough they did. So Nick Nitro was one of the first purchases that I got for my toy collection, and I was super happy with it. Kept it in its box and still have it to this day, as you can see up there, along with the rest of the Commando Elite, a loose Archer, a loose Insaniac, and a loose Chip Hazard. So I wanted to obviously complete the collection, and the more I researched Small Soldiers, and I found out as the later down the line that they did release a few more of the Commando Elite, and one of them was Kip Gilligan, or as he was released by Kenner as Battle Changing Kip. Now, Battle Changing Kip and Battle Changing Archer, the two most rare action figures that you can find in the entire Small Soldiers series. Anywhere between $300 to $500 I've seen these action figures sell mint in box, sometimes even out of box. They've still been going for around $250 on eBay, and it's one of those dream purchases that I always wanted, was Kip Gilligan for this toy room. And I remember telling myself that I was never ever going to buy it till I definitely knew I could 100% afford it. And then I came to a situation basically where I'd always check eBay to see if you could still get hold of a Kip Gilligan, to see if they were still circulating, and fewer and fewer and fewer were appearing. So one day, after searching for weeks, months even, and not being able to find one actually popped up mint in box in great condition, and I just told myself, it's now or never. I've got to get it. And anybody else out there who's a toy collector will completely understand that sometimes common sense goes out the window and you end up spending far too much money on one action figure. I don't want to reveal how much I spent on this action figure, because my fiance will most likely castrate me if she found out. Here it is, Battle Changing Kip. So these, you know what? This is the sickening part. When this came, when it arrived to my house, it arrived with the original price sticker in the store. It was originally $12 and then got reduced to half price and then discounted further to just $5. Someone once paid $5 for this, and you can now I could probably sell this on at $500 if I wanted to. Not that I'm ever going to. This was a realization of a dream come true right here, owning this, and I own the entire Commando Elite that were released. But to this day, you cannot get hold of Link Static or Butch Meat Hook. So, you know, if anyone, Ken is now owned by Hasbro. So Hasbro, if you happen to see this video, please, like, a re-release series. We've seen Mighty Morphin Power Rangers be re-released in the Legacy series and now by Hasbro in the new Lightning collection. So if they could do something with Small Soldiers where we could finally get our hands on Butch Meat Hook and Link Static, that would be amazing. And I know out there's a lot of people who do custom action figures, and they'll take something like a Chip Hazard and they'll chop it down, they'll repaint it and stuff like that, but it's just not the same. It's not the same as actually getting an official figure, especially when it's in its box and stuff. Small Soldiers didn't actually do as well as what people expected it to, or what they was predicting that it would do. And the film relatively kind of became like underground, like, not an underground, but kind of like a cult following. There was a few people, myself included, obviously, who were still big fans of it. Anything Phil Hartman related, I'm going to enjoy. But Small Soldiers was, yeah, it was a big part of my childhood. I was 8 when it was released, and I just remember how much I was there. I thought it was the greatest thing at that time, and these action figures gave me a lot of enjoyment as a kid, so they've got a proud place on my toy shelf and in this toy collection. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and check out some of the other videos that I'm going to have coming up, because there's a lot of toys in here and I've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of toys that I don't own yet that I'd like to discuss and talk about with you, and basically share my enthusiasm for this geek culture, I guess you could call it. But yeah, until then, we are the Commando Elite. Everything else is just a toy. That was a mindful one.